Everyone, guess what time it is? It is time for the Witches Movie Coven. We should do something here, shouldn't we? I don't know what we could catch at the end. Ooh, witch hands, witch hands. Hi everybody. My name is Patti Negri, and I am here with my dear friends, Richard-Lael Lillard, Courtney Buckley, Heather Greene, Jason Mankey, and you. Because we want you live here too. We want your comments, your likes, your dislikes, your wands up, your wands down, because this is our end of the year special. But before we go on, and you guys are going, what the hell are you guys doing? Let's go ahead and check in on everybody. So, Richard-Lael, what's new with you?
Well, apparently I will be doing a special this weekend for my birthday. So stay tuned to that. We'll have some special guests. I think Patti Negri, you might know her. She's going to be coming in for a brief moment. And you might know Courtney Buckley. She said she would come in too. I think maybe a couple others might pop in. I don't know exactly what that's going to be, but that's new. Yeah, that's
I think it sounds like fabulous guests to me. So we'll all have to tone there on New Year's Eve, whatever it is that we are doing. Heather, how about you? What's new with you on this time between Yule, Hanukkah, Christmas, and just before New Year's Eve?
It does feel like a liminal time, doesn't it? It's you don't know what's going to happen. It's very spooky in that way. I have been laying low, working hard on some fantastic books that are going to be coming out next year, which I can't wait to share when they do come out. And just doing a little witchy crafting and enjoying the season.
Beautiful, beautiful. Jason?
So for the holidays, I got a new ice maker, and it makes that soft, wet pellet ice that you can just eat for fun. You know what I'm talking about? Like you only get at restaurants. So I've been drinking ice all week. That's been my big thing. It tain't Christmas and tain't New Year's, so I'm just gonna drink this ice with whiskey on it for the entire week.
I love that kind of ice. I didn't know you could have a maker to do that.
I just found out. It was very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's too much excitement for this girl. Courtney, how about you?
Well, I am on school vacation because I'm by day a teacher or a substitute teacher. So I'm just enjoying being home with Black Phillip. I got my COVID booster yesterday, so I'm running a slight fever, but I'm here and I'm excited and I'm protected, and that's it. I'm excited about New Year's and celebrating Richard-Lael's birthday. Like, what an honor to be invited, or to invite myself.
We invited ourselves. I think
we really did.
We did.
Hands really fast. We invited ourselves. Yeah, I've been having a really lovely time. Smaller. I've known for big crazy blowouts and then nothing for the last 2 years. So we eased back in this year with a little gathering for Yule, Christmas. Then did a short hop trip to Vegas with my husband and my puppy, and she was a fabulous traveler. More than I can say for my husband or myself, I must say. But Willow was a great traveler, and that's good. And I'm excited about 2023 and a new year. So, yes, happy birthday, Richard-Lael, and happy birthday, somebody else. We have a Jason birthday in there too, I believe, right? When's your birthday, Jason?
Next Wednesday. That's our whole show. Jason's favorite everything. Come here Wednesday, January 4th, and it'll just be about me for the whole hour.
Okay.
No one is allowed to disagree
with
any of Jason's opinions next Wednesday. We all have to agree with everything Jason says.
That's why we have to disagree with him tonight.
Yes.
So that it all being out of the way.
Get it all out of our system.
Seems like a good plan.
Okay, so now what we're going to talk about, we were going to just talk about our top 5 witch movies of the year, or top 5 TV shows, or our top 5 books, and then it turned into our top 5 gifts and our top 5 Barbie dolls and our top 5 personal purchases. So it's a free for all, but we want you guys in our studio audience to join in. Your top 5, your top witchy things, or even witchy adjacent is close enough. But why don't we start out? Let's start out with witchy movies or TV. Heather, do we want to go to you to start out? Do you have any thoughts on that? What your top were in the movie or TV world?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. So we haven't talked about this film at all, and it came out in 2022, and I thought it was a very interesting take on witch films. It's called She Will, and it is by Charlotte Colbert, and it stars Alex Kriege, and it's really unlike many of the witch films you've seen in the past. Really a very strong feminist take on the concept of witchcraft, why women become witches, trauma, and everything. And it's very unusual even in the way it tells its story. So it's very different and very fun. And you know, we may say Hocus Pocus was a lot of fun, but this movie, She Will, broke a lot of boundaries. So that's my favorite witch film of the year. And my favorite witchy adjacent television show was Stranger Things, which, you know, I adore Stranger Things. And why is Stranger Things adjacent to witches is for a couple of reasons. First of all, as our wonderful producer pointed out, we have the Warlock guitar, and Eddie's scene where he's playing that guitar at the end, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, is probably one of the best scenes in all of Stranger Things. It's fantastic. It made my daughter cry. It's beautiful. But beside from that, the character of Vecna, who is the bad guy in this, he is not a witch in the movie, but his character is based on a Dungeons and Dragons warlock who learned magic and witchcraft and became the best at it, the top warlock or witch in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. And I am not a D&D player, but this is what I understand from the lore. That's what he was based on. And so you have that connection there. And he is magical in a sense, in the Stranger Things sense. So there's our adjacent. I love Stranger Things, so I'm going to just say, yes, Stranger Things is my best favorite witchy adjacent 2022 TV show.
Okay, perfect. Since Courtney, you're right next to Heather, at least on my screen. How about you?
Do you want my top movies, or I came prepared with top 5 witchy adjacent video games? I don't know if we're straying from movies.
Yes.
All right. So one of my favorite things, aside from all the things that I've done with you lovely people this year, is I started streaming video games on Twitch. And getting really into like PC gaming. So I have my top 5 witchy adjacent video games that I've played this year. And so one of them I had to go with was Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is very, like, I thought people, if I streamed that, would think it was a cry for help based off of the other games that I stream. But it's fun and whimsical, and it's magical, and you know, you're waving your magic around, and it's all about, you know, your character's magic saving Disney Dreamlight Valley. I play a couple ghost hunting games, Ghost Watchers, and one of my absolute favorite games, Phasmophobia. And in those games, you are using like ghost hunting equipment, but they also have in them cursed objects. And those cursed objects are things like tarot cards, or a mirror that you can scry in to find the ghost location, or summoning circles that you can light the candles around the pentagram and summon the ghost, and Ouija boards that will talk to you and tell you the ghost location. And so it feels like it's both of my favorite things. It's paranormal investigation. It's very, Phasmophobia at least is very true to that. Or in Ghost Watchers, it's a lot more fun with a lot of jump scares, but it's that plus that little witchy element of doing those magical things to help you, you know, on your little adventure. One I think you guys might appreciate is Cult of the Lamb. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's very cartoony and cute and whimsical. You play as a little lamb, and you died and were sacrificed to the undergods or whatever they were, and you have to go through and build your cult and do rituals for your cult and brainwash them and do all this stuff. But there's a lot of like caring for the members of your little coven situation and doing all these rituals and, you know, banishing things and magically doing things. So that was witchy adjacent. But my top favorite game of the year was The Mortuary Assistant, which again, you know, my love of human remains. We were all familiar with that. You are a mortuary assistant, and you go into this mortuary, and you know, you're learning, and you have to embalm bodies, and the bodies, there's a demon that possesses the bodies, and you have to identify the demon using like symbols like runes. What are they? I can't think of the word. Sigils. Sorry, sigils. And there's banishing things that you have to do and binding things that you have to do when you discover, what the demon's name is and all this stuff, and it haunts you while you go. So it's genuinely scary. It's so much fun. I've screamed so many times and made an absolute fool of myself streaming it. But they do fun things like for Christmas, we talked about, Santa is magic, right? So for Christmas, they did an update and you can embalm Santa. And he wears he has like his beard and his rosy cheeks, but he's dead. And so you have to embalm him. And then sometimes he's the demon. So all of these I play on my PC. I think most of them, except for maybe Disney Dream of Valley and Cult of the Lamb, you might be able to play on other platforms. But I play all mine on the PC. You can watch me if you haven't already. Some people here have watched. You can watch me stream them on Twitch and play along if you want. But that was my favorite thing that I did this year, and fun that I can incorporate witchy adjacent into it. Sorry, that was a lot.
Thank you. That is good because I'm not a gamer. I see somebody just put up great to see me play those games. I'm not a gamer. I've played one game, Sims, when it first came out.
I love Sims.
The world. That's kind of it. So
Sims is even witchy now. I don't know if you know this, Patty, but there's a witch expansion.
Thing for Sims magazine. Really? They're witchy? Oh, everybody's witchy now.
Yeah, there's this whole witch expansion that you go to this witchy school and you learn different witchy trades, and there's also werewolves and vampires and ghost hunting and all kinds of fun stuff. Though it's fun.
Witches are so popular. I think it's us. We did it. We
started it, for sure.
I don't know. This is kind of a free for all, and we thank you everybody who's jumping in with your favorites of everything and commenting. Keep it up because we are watching. Hi Matthew. Hi Sweet Sierra. Hi Michelle. Hi Richard. Everybody's there. So all right. We haven't heard from you yet, Jason, who are often different than some of us in our likes and dislikes. Do you have a top 5 movies or? I can't hear you.
My favorite witch adjacent movie this year was clearly Hocus Pocus 2. And it changed my entire opinion of the Hocus Pocus franchise because it did this really cool role reversal. And the witches were supposed to be like, the bad guys in the first movie. And in the second one, though, I thought that they had retconned their origin and they were more sympathetic. And they clearly became people that you were supposed to root for. And I really loved that because I love all those actresses. So it was great that everybody wanted me to root for them. So that was my favorite witch movie of the year. And it shows the power of witchcraft that they had to make them good guys. Because Heather often talks about Satanic Panic. And Hocus Pocus, the original, was kind of at the tail end of that. So that was my favorite. And my favorite witchy TV show is not a witchy TV show at all. But I'm going to make an argument. So I watched The White Lotus on HBO, which is a crazy show, mostly about really privileged, rich people. And there's a character played by Jennifer Coolidge named Tanya, who sort of lives in her own space and walks in her own world and mostly seems to survive a series of misadventures. And I'm labeling her my favorite witch of the year because Jennifer Coolidge has to be a witch because Jennifer Coolidge is awesome. And Tanya is just so out there that there has to be some sort of witchiness in her past. So those are my two, and I'll talk about other things later throughout the show. But I thought it was a quiet year for witches, especially on TV. Wednesday, which we talked about, she didn't really seem very witch-like at all in the TV show, which was different, I think, from some of the portrayals of her in the past. So those are two of mine. I don't think I've been contrary at all tonight, Patty.
No, you haven't. You haven't. Dang. What are we gonna do?
There's time. Lots of
time. Richard-Lael?
Well, I want to talk about I can quickly say my 5 favorite witch adjacent witches are, in no particular order, Patti Negri, Courtney Buckley, Jason Mankey, Heather Greene, and our producers. We can't forget our producers. So they're also kind of witchy. So yes. Those are my. That's different. That's my favorite. Those are my favorite witches this year. But I will tell you what I really love this year, as far as like witch adjacent. I really love Twin Temple. I don't know if you're familiar, but yes, Jason and I know Jason likes Ghost. I like Ghost. It's okay, but I really love Twin Temple. It's a satanic doo-wop group, and the husband and wife, and they sing about spells and the Scarlet Woman and selling one's soul and making love to Satan because he's a better kisser than Jesus. So yes,
Where can I watch this?
it's Twin Temple. They're everywhere. It's a music group. It's a group. It's like a husband and wife team, and the music sounds like it's the 50s, but they sing like one of them is Lucifer, My Love, and it sounds like some 1950s sort of teeny bopper love song, and then you listen to the lyrics, and it's Lucifer, my love. The church and state thing has us separated, and you're a much better kisser than Jesus.
That sounds amazing.
It's really amazing. They're really good. I mean, they're people may think they're rockabilly. They're not. That's a doo-wop group, and they are amazing. I really love them.
All right, we will have to check them out.
I'm writing it down right now.
We're writing it down.
They are so good. They're so good.
I don't even know them, so thank you. I will check them out. When we were together in New York with Frankie Frank, I like that Luna 13. They're kind of a witchy, weird husband, wife, or girl, boy duo.
Yes.
That night, they're real something witchy adjacent in their work. I on TVs and movies kind of agree with all of you. I like Wednesdays. I love Hocus Pocus too. My closest adjacent still, and I don't even know if they have new episodes this year, but I still can't get over it, and it's very adjacent, is What We Do in the Shadows. Still my favorite guilty pleasure. I'm a vampire and a witch, and I'm a vampire witch, so it's close enough. I just can't get over What We Do in the Shadows and the psychic vampire in his little office and everything. They're so funny. So that's good.
I got really excited and off topic, obviously, about the video games that I came prepared with, but I do have one movie that's witch adjacent that came out this year that nobody else mentioned that I really enjoyed. If I can hop back in for a second.
Yes.
It was called The Cursed. It says when you look it up that it came out in 2021, but I'm pretty sure that it came out in February, or at least I saw it in February of this year. And it's witchy adjacent, but it's very, very, very good. It's beautifully shot. It reminded me of a Studio A24 movie in the way that they do like the sound and the framing of the shots and everything else. And it's like a werewolf movie, but it's about this town in France where they're getting greedy with the land, and they go to war with the Roma people. And there's this, it's terribly heartbreaking, but it's a beautiful shot where instead of it being like a war scene where you're up in everyone's face and it's going back and forth and it's all very chaotic, it's like the camera's set on top of this hill, so you see the whole thing for the whole period, and it just stays there. And so you see the whole battle break out in front of you, and like the camera doesn't move, so it's like you're really there watching it. And they kill off these people to get the land, and then they're cursed. The people put the curse on the people that killed them. And then there's all this supernatural stuff and everything else, and they're trying to go through and figure all that out. But it's a beautifully shot movie. Like I said, the scenery is really amazing. It's dark, the sound is really good, the music is really good. So witchy adjacent for me, but it is one of my top favorite movies of the year.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we've talked about movies. Let's move. No. We had. Who wants to jump in? I will not jump in first. But it's your top witchy purchase or your top witchy gift? I'm gonna say my first top witchy gift. I just want to because I know he's online. My top witchy gift, and I think it was this year. Not sure. Was my handmade scarf by you, Matthew, who's. I don't know if you're in the other room or he's moved on now. It says University Magicus, all handmade
Oh,
by Matthew.
Wow.
My nephew.
nice.
All handmade. It is like my favorite thing
Wow.
that I have. So I just wanted to do that, make sure he's still there. This was beautiful, handmade. My best, definitely witchy gift. Who else wants to jump in here before I get on to Barbie? My clothes are falling off, but my other.
This
I'll
is
jump.
the only. This is the
Oh.
OnlyFans version of the witches.
Yes.
I like it.
OnlyFans
Oh, there's
version of the
Twin
witches
Temple.
movie Coven.
We're
this
making
is-
a change in 2023.
This is
European
Twin Temple, and you will have to see they do an invocation to Babylon, and they're amazing. If you haven't heard them, you will love Twin Temple.
I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, I love doo-wop music and 50s style rock and roll, and that sounds amazing.
That sounds very fun.
Yeah.
It's a great gimmick, but they're also like just great at what they do. Even if they didn't have the satanic gimmick, I would still listen to them.
They are really good.
They're really good.
Okay, good.
All right, I have a witchy gift.
Okay.
It's Black Phillip. Black Phillip was gifted to me by our wonderful producers, Rob and Christine, because you guys, most of you, had a Black Phillip, and I was cuddling a bone. And then suddenly a box showed up at my house, and here he is. But he's given me more than just someone to cuddle at night. He's made me feel connected with my beautiful witches movie Coven, all of you wonderful people. He's also brought me out of my house. I've taken him on adventures to Salem and posted about it on social media, and I've met a bunch of wonderful people because of it. And I've made some really nice connections, and he keeps me warm at night. So that's my favorite witchy gift of the year.
That was beautiful. I had to buy my own, but Heather does have the purple Phillip.
Purple Phillip.
He is black. It's just the lighting.
I literally I carry him. I'm the grown adult in Salem walking around and, carrying this stuffed animal, and people on the street are saying to me, like they're pointing and being like, oh, Black Phillip, where did you get him? And I have to be like, not here, because he's special. But it actually, from posting on Instagram, I was connected with a local celebrity, the Goat Girl of Salem, and she came out and did a photo shoot with Black Phillip, her very first photo shoot that she'd ever done at the Witch House. So that's on my Instagram. But it was I just getting to meet her was amazing, and seeing her love for my little Black Phillip, and it was great. So all kinds of fun adventures this year because of this very witchy gift. Plus, I still have to do butthole magic.
What?
Nobody understands.
Jason, were you not here that day? So he has a little rip in his
Yeah, that must have been my one show where I was gone a few weeks ago.
Oh, right here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna make a little spell bag for him for great success for Black Phillip and put it in his little butt.
And take his tag off. Don't you think?
I know I have to, but if I rip it or cut it, it's right on that seam where it rips. So when I sew him back together, I'm gonna take the tag off.
I cut mine short.
No.
But I love it that here we are.
So what did you do tonight, adults? Well, we all showed off our Black Phillip plushes and talked about putting things in his butthole.
Somebody just asked, and they switched past. So I didn't see who. They asked about a show on AMC, but I missed it. So
I have not seen that one yet.
It's All of Them Witches is on AMC Plus right now. It debuts on regular AMC next weekend before the new show about witches from Anne Rice. So yeah.
Right.
And that one is so good, you
And
guys.
I can't wait.
I got a
that one.
sneak peek of how the first interview. The Mayfair Witches is so good. It's so.
Can we
I want to
just
add in. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to add in with that another favorite. I have to say, because patting myself on the back is another 2022 release is the Witches of Hollywood, which is another documentary which made its debut just a few weeks ago, and I got interviewed in it, and it was actually filmed in 2018 as a French film by a French director. It was fantastic. A lot of other witches are in it. And it just made its debut on Amazon. So that's another one. It's not really a 2022 movie, so it doesn't count, but it's 22 for the US. So I just throw that one in. Because that one counts, and it talks about Hollywood movies with witches in them, which is what we do here.
That one we have to watch, and that completely counts. I thank you, Patrick just put in his top witchy playlist, of which I agree with. Witchy Woman by the Eagles, Black Magic Woman by Santana, Season of the Witch by Donovan, and I put a spell on you by Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
Yeah,
there's some good witch music out there. We could do a whole thing on music if we wanted to.
We should.
We should.
Yes. Yes.
Our producer wants to know who was the goat woman of Salem. I have no idea.
Yes, that was the goat girl of Salem that I met through Black Phillip, and we took pictures in front of the witch house.
Oh, okay. So now we got it. Oh, that means we must be talking. Go on.
Can I just call attention to one of these comments that is like, I'm really physically suffering trying not to snort laugh while I'm reading it. Linda Morrison says tags are irritating on a butthole in reference. Oh, sorry. I saw it and I almost interrupted because I was like trying not to snort laugh.
Yes. So, all right. So we're moving on to other things, and Barbie is punching me, pulling me, getting me. So I thought we wanted to do my top 5. I have a coven of Barbies. I have 8 in the main coven. I have 13 on side coven. Some are adjacent, Barbie adjacent. But my top 5 witch Barbies are Spring Equinox Barbie. Isn't she beautiful? Spring Equinox Barbie. We have Moon Goddess Barbie. Is she not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? We have Medusa Barbie.
Wow.
Oh.
And then, of course, Glenda and the Wicked Witch. And they get along beautifully together in the coven. On the side, I've got my beautiful Dragon Barbie, and then my Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead Barbies. But I had to have some excuse to show my Barbies. So those are my 5 witch coven Barbies of the year, because we have our movie coven and I have a Barbie coven too. So everybody needs a coven.
So Patty, I've got a question. I don't know about Barbie collecting. Are these like custom made ones, or do they make like a Spring Equinox Barbie?
They make them.
They make them.
Oh, wow.
Barbie is that everybody can afford a Barbie. They make Barbies that are like $5. They make Barbies. I have one that retail starts at $1,000. My Swarovski crystal Barbie, I think, and they make collectors and I have my $2 Goodwill Barbies next to my $2,000 collector Barbie. They all play together. Mine are all out of the box, unless they want to be in the box, something like that. But no, they've gotten real witchy with Barbie. Really, this is a real legitimate Barbie.
That's amazing.
This is a real legitimate Barbie, I think. Look at her. She got her own moon and everything.
Bob Mackie did the Goddess of the Moon and the Goddess of the Sun Barbies back 20 years ago. That's amazing. Yeah.
I have both of those. I will have to bring those down next time, but they were upstairs. It's like, how many could I grab in my arm? Yeah. Mattel's got very, very witchy with their Barbies. And that's it. And my other self-purchase was this lovely shrug. You know what this is? It's a heating pad. So it's magic. I opened it up from Amazon like half an hour ago. I put it on and I can't take it off. So it's magic because it looks like clothes, but it's warm. That's it. I'm going to shut up now. Oh, yes. There's my coven.
There's the coven.
There's my coven. They've got some tarot cards there. They've got their favorite Ouija board. I had some of my tools. Oh, they're probably thrown all over. All my witches have they've got their thames, they've got their swords, they've got their Ouija boards, but they're all knocked over my desk right now. Anyway, that's it. That's my top 5 of this moment. Who's got a top 5 or a top 1 or something else?
I do. I have a top 5. I want to talk about gifts. My favorite gift that I have been given this year is a 1960s game with the devil on it from Courtney Buckley?
That's me. It hasn't come yet. Maybe for your birthday.
I know. I was only merely hinting here.
I do. I can run and grab it and show it to you. I know exactly where it is.
Actually,
That's fun.
I did buy for myself. It's witch adjacent. I bought myself. It's by Brian May, and it's what is it called? It's the Stereoscope Adventures in Hell, the Diabolaries, and it has this sort of great cover and they're 19th century stereo cards that you would look through that little thing and you would place these cards, and these are all little models of hell and the devil, and he goes to the mask ball, and it's the devil's kitchen, and they torture souls in hell. It's really amazing, and it's got this it comes with a stereoscope viewer, so you can actually look at the cards. But inside, for those of you who don't know what these Diabolary viewers are, they look like this. And they're these little cards that you view through a stereoscope.
That's so cool.
Those are beautiful.
It's really beautiful. I've become really obsessed with them. But Brian May from Queen actually does this. It's the LondonStereo.com. He became obsessed with them when he was young and in Queen back in the 70s, early 70s. He would go to thrift stores and charity shops in the UK, and he would find these little tissue viewer cards. And when you hold them up to the light, they illuminate from the backside, and all of their eyes glow red, and the lights illuminate yellow. It's really quite charming.
I love that.
So that's my
It'll go
favorite.
so well with your board game.
Right?
Oh, and don't forget the souvenir promotional barf bag that I got you from whatever that movie was.
Yes, I remember.
It's on my dining room table. You know, it's collecting energy, Richard-Lael. It has to bring the right amount of my energy to you. So that's taken some time.
We have to wait. We do have to wait. Actually, I do want to show you some of my other favorite gifts. And forgive me, I'm not going to say the names. I don't know if they want me to say the names online, but a friend of mine gave me this, and another friend gave me Black Phillip, and another friend made this wand here for me. So those are my top 5 witch and witch adjacent gifts and things.
That is beautiful. If anybody has anything else, we can go there. Other thing we did want to talk about, since they kind of go hand in hand, were some of our top books. So I want to start there because Heather's book.
I have that one too.
Of course. My gosh, we have a whole podcast, name about off this book. This is one of my favorite books. I also want to say this of Jason. I know he has many books, is one of my favorite absolute books. I like simple spellcraft books. And another book that I really recommend to new witches, it's also a Llewellyn book, but this one, this is a Llewellyn book, Eclectic Book of Shadows, because it's super simple and you can make it, write in it like a journal kind of thing if you want. But I just like how it's laid out. So if literally witchy books, these are my favorite. Oh, and this one from Matt is good too. I just had him on my show. He's got a bunch of different books. So I like books. So does somebody else have favorite books?
I feel like we're in too much agreement, Patty.
Oh no, what are we gonna do?
I know. It's like this is not living up to me being contrary, but I loved Matt's second book. I thought it was better than his first book. I thought the magic was more practical and easier to do, and I thought Matt really grew as a writer. So I love this. I really like Rachel Patterson. This is A Witch for Every Season.
Yes.
And I love books that sort of go through the wheel of the year and give you ideas about things to do through the wheel of the year. And that's what Rachel does. And Rachel's really crafty and magical. And I've known her for several years. But I was like blown away by this book and really surprised by it, by how good it was. We do a lot of stuff with crystals in our house. So Crystal Magic for the Modern Witch by Devin Hunter. Devin is not just the smartest person I know when it comes to crystals. He and Nicholas Pearson are probably the two smartest that I know. but it's also like a
Mhm.
really beautiful book with full color pictures and stuff, so you can like really see what it is that you're working with, which I really liked. I really liked this book, but that's not fair. And I really like the parts of this book that I didn't write. And since I'm a co-author, I can just say that Estrella Taylor's parts are really terrific. So
As
those
are
were
yours.
mine.
As are
And
yours.
Mine are bad.
Ah.
And there's my Black Phillip went to Glastonbury this year, and there he is by the Chalice Well, which was really frightening because my wife's like, "Don't you dare drop Black Phillip down that well."
That is beautiful. I guess I'm going to have to start taking Black Phillip on all my trips with me.
Yes.
I guess the next one will be Caribbean Cruise, I guess. We'll see.
Yep. Don't drop him in
I
the
want to
sea.
thank you, Robert Hicks, for saying his favorite witchy book was my book, Old World Magic, and
Yes,
Heather's Lights, Camera, Witchcraft.
Thank
For
you.
being friends. So thank you.
I'm going to jump into this book discussion here because what I do in my day job is I am an acquisitions editor for Llewellyn. And thank you, Jason, for bringing up Rachel Patterson's book because she is one of my wonderful authors. That's the second one of her book I've worked on. So she did a great job. And I coming up with my top witchy book of the year feels like I'm choosing among which are my favorite children. And I actually included, you can see in the back here. So all of these books right here in this one shelf are all the books I've worked on. So that's a look at, I don't know how many, 22 or so books. And I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all, I've been posting them on Twitter over the past month to share them, but maybe I'll do a blog post and share that next week where you guys can find all of them because I can't really choose among them because there are some amazing authors. I get to read some of the just incredible stuff from so many amazing authors. So I didn't feel like it was fair. Like I'm going through the Llewellyn catalog going, okay, which is my, hold on a second, let me pick this. So I'm going through the, you can get your Llewellyn calendar. So there is, so I didn't feel like I could choose, but I do want to share one book that I found fascinating that I had to get for an article. This is not a Llewellyn book. It's not really how to do witchcraft or spells, but it's a little bit of the background behind Pamela Coleman Smith, who is the brilliant artist behind the tarot deck that many of us start reading tarot with. And her story is not really well known. And so I bought this as a resource book, and it's got picture, and she was recently in the Whitney, I think, in New York. I wrote an article, you think I know, but it's got beautiful pictures of her art. Oh, that's not art. But anyway, so it's got her art in here. It's got her story of her tarot deck and why she was pretty much ignored, why we call it the Rider-Waite deck and not originally, and not credit her with the art and how she got into the occult and back in that time. So I found that absolutely fascinating. And so I wanted to bring that book up. Definitely dive into the history of Pamela Coleman Smith and who she was, because it'll give you a whole new look on that original deck. So that was one of mine I wanted to bring up as far as books are concerned. And I think I may have, no, I think that's it. I have some gifts and things that I was going to do, but I can wait for that since we're talking about books. And I will mention, thank you for reading my book and making that one of your top 5. Whoever did that, everyone. And I will, yay! And I will also list all of my books that I've worked on because they were all so amazing, all of them. So I will do that so you guys can all see which ones I worked on.
So I have a book story that I could share. I'm pretty proud of myself about this. This year has been tough. I have not had a lot of time for reading. I have one of my favorite gifts was the beautiful box of Llewellyn witchy books that I got in the mail. And I'm working my way through those. Heather, I have yours on the list and I have Jason's on the list. But this is again sort of witchy adjacent, but this has been something that's been haunting me for years, since like before my son was born. There's a book called Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. And Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. And this book terrified me so much the first time I read it that I got about 30 pages into it and then I threw it across the room. And I couldn't finish it. It's the only book that I've ever picked up and was not able to finish. And I've tried, I can't live with that knowledge that I haven't been able to finish it. So I try to like curse other people with it. in my own lovely form of witchcraft. I tried to make my mother read it. She called me in the middle of the night screaming because it was my fault and it was haunting her in her house and it was looking at her. So I used to change its dust jackets and hide it under her pillow for her to find. And then she'd think that it was like a Ouija board. She was afraid of Ouija boards, that the Ouija, like just like a Ouija board, was reappearing somehow at her house. But I bought it for like 5 or 6 people to try to read it and tell me what happens, because I can't live with the knowledge that I don't know what happens at the end. But it is about like a haunted object that he buys, and then it's like a curse that's placed on him, and you know there's witchy adjacent things in there. But this year, traveling for Scared and Alone, and I was driving longer distances, I got all of the gumption. I thought, you know what, if I can go into these scary places by myself, I can listen to this book. I could listen to it. Maybe it would be different. So I bought it and I started listening to it, and I got way further than I've ever gotten before. And I'm still working on it. But that's like one of my big accomplishments of 2022 is I got past the part in that book that I couldn't get past. And now it's not haunting me anymore. I'm enjoying it. So I put my big girl pants on.
Actually, because it helps you to face your fears, and then it means that you are growing as a person. I think that's a great thing. I want to tell you, it reminded me of a dream that I had many, many years ago. And when I was a kid, I used to dream of this old house that I would now live in a heartbeat. You know, the classic haunted house with a tower, and that was classically what I would dream of as a boy. And it was always in different locations. And I remember one time I was about 12 or 13, and there was this house in the middle of this sort of desert town. It was on a hill, and I walked by and I had this panic, this fear, and then it burst into flames. And I reached up in the dream and I took it like this, and I put it in the palm of my hand, and I wadded it up and I threw it over my shoulder. And I never had a scared dream about that house anymore. And so for you to have gone to the point where you were and then gone beyond it, I think it's growth. I think it's amazing. And Jason is back. We miss him.
I'm having lots of fun issues tonight. I'm really sorry. Our internet in the whole.
I think you're jumpy, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're a little jumpy, but we love you anyway.
It's Courtney. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Patty.
No, I was going to say, see what happens when you agree with us all the time, Jason? We make you go away. I think he's only half getting us. Anyway, what were you saying, Heather? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, I was going to say, is editing books in the witchy world about magic, about occult practices, about fairies and the gods and all of the energies. These books were produced and written by witches, by occult practitioners. So they're putting their energy and magic into the books. And so when you were talking, I was thinking about the magic that comes out of the book when you read it. So it's, you know, the information you're getting is one thing, but you're actually receiving a certain amount of energy that's coming through from the authors, because these authors, and I work with them on a daily basis, they're putting their energy into it, which any author, magic or otherwise, does. So it's not magical in that sense, but magical people also are putting in that extra energy. They're talking about magical subjects. They're talking about metaphysical subjects. So when you're reading them, there's a distinct, especially editing them, there's a distinct energy that's coming out, which I see when I'm reading. And I've talked to other acquisitions and editors, and we sometimes laugh, you know, the fairies are laughing when you're working on a fairy book, or, you know, whatever the case. I worked on a Loki book, which came out this year. And it's a fantastic book if you know nothing about Norse deity, that Norse god. And I literally 1 month later, after I transmitted it and it went over into production, we had an event, an internal event, sales meeting, and everything I did was messed up. Every time I logged on, I got cut off. Every time I tried to speak to do a presentation, I froze. And it went on like this. And it was like a comedy of errors. And after about 20 minutes, I went, okay, I know why this is happening. So the energy is there, you know, through these books, and it affects us. And I don't know if that's exactly what you were experiencing, not quite the same thing, but it's there and it's valid.
Well, no, it really is that fear.
So it's fun for.
Yeah, no, that fear was like palpable and real. I remember exactly what part it was in that book that did it to me. There was an email where the guy was just checking his email, and it was like the ghost took over the computer and wrote him an email, which sounds silly to say it out loud, but it was the way it was written and the way it read in my head when I was reading it that I was like, I will never recover from this. And it took me over a decade to get over it and like deal with it. And the fact that no one else, and I think I just spread it around because every single person that I handed the book to was someone who enjoyed books like that. But because of the energy that I put out with it when I handed it to them, they couldn't finish it. And it was the same thing. Oh, I can't. The book's like, it feels like it's watching me from across the room. I can't pick it up. I can't look at it. Like, but there's magic in a book form, I think.
Of course there's magic. And you're right. It would be in any kind of book, a physics book or whatever book, but we do this on purpose. We, as those of us who are spellcasters, and we know that it's energy. That's what we're doing, and we're putting it into our words, into our books just the same. We do it on purpose. That's why I'm real picky when the one movie that was patterned off of me, somebody catching on fire at my seance, I sat down with them for 5 hours and said, you can't say that in a horror movie. They're like, well, you said that. I go, I know I said that. That does something energetically. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? That happens all the time. Energy, spirits, good, bad, or indifferent, don't know the difference of a method actor reading off a script and some real coven or whatever group doing something. So it's real. Books are, it's real.
Yep. That's why they had the witches on the set of the craft too, because when they were doing the actual witchy works and the spell casting and stuff that were part of the script, they actually had witches on set to make sure nothing was actually accidentally opened or triggered, and that everything was opened properly each day before set began and closed down each day. I don't think that's common in Hollywood, but that was done for the craft too, which is pretty cool and shows how far the witch community has gone over the years. But
yeah,
I love that.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you, and thank you, Courtney. You are still the best ghost bait. Ghost bait.
I'm a goat bait too.
Goat bait.
Goat bait and ghost bait.
All right. So who else we wanted to move on to? Well, we have a little bit more. You guys had either gifts or purchases that we were off. I think Heather, you said you had, or
I do. I have some gifts. I would like to share a couple of gifts. This one is really cool. If you're on Twitter, you may have seen him. That's where I discovered. And I don't know if you'll actually get a good picture of it, but these are stamps from UK, Guernsey, by Keith Robinson. I want to make sure I'm saying his name. Yeah, it's Keith Robinson, and I follow him on Twitter, and you probably cannot see them very well, but I urge you to go look. These were stamps made for Guernsey in the UK, and they are of witches. There's witches flying here, and they're all based on lore. Here's witch on a chimney, witch in lightning. They're all, and he did a series of them, and they are absolutely incredible. And my parents gifted me a set of the stamps. They ordered them from the UK and framed them for me because they're super, super cool. Because I love witch art, modern witch art and stuff like that. And the other gift I got, which I was hoping for, was the famous tarot boxes by my wonderful partner. He made one special for me. And so you got to watch this, guys. Watch it. Ready? Hold on. I'm going to do it. Did you see? Did you watch it? Hold on. Watch. Ready? Again. I'm going to do it. So this is the box. It says blessed be on it. Did you see it? It lifts up.
Yeah.
And so inside, I have one of my favorite decks. It's not 2022, but this is a great tarot deck right here. And it's, so I got one. He was making them. He usually gives me gifts. He usually makes witchy stuff because he thinks my house is not witchy enough and I need to have witchy things. So he gave me this for my birthday, which I put my cookbook on when I'm cooking. And then he decided he was going to make tarot boxes. And so I've been giving him images for it, and I didn't think I was going to get it, but there you go. Look at that. Wow. And you can grab your, yep. And so that is one he did for me. So I'm very excited about my witchy gifts from the holidays.
Does he sell those somewhere?
He does. He actually did. He sells these, and he has a bunch of different designs that he sells them, and he sells them with witchy stuff and without witchy stuff in case you're like a card collector, play Magic the Gathering or whatever. At thebewitchedhome.com, there's an Etsy shop. So it's the Bewitched Home, whatever, etsy.com shop, the Bewitched Home. And so he's selling them on there. I help him manage it, but I told him I wanted one, honestly. So so that's
you can't get what you want unless you tell.
I said, yeah, I really want one. So there you go. Woo! It's like a Pac-Man for tarot cards. So those are my favorite gifts. And the other thing I wanted to share was my favorite story, because I am also a journalist, and I write a lot about witch stories, witch news. And my favorite witch story, which I did a bunch of them, because again, it's like choosing from children, was a story that came out, and it's my favorite because it got published in the paper in the Washington Post, and it was my story. So that makes it my favorite story because it was so exciting. But it was the story of the witchcraft festival in New York City getting harassed. And it was a huge story, and the people there were so resilient and so strong, and their story was so incredible. And they're going back, and I didn't get to even tell all the backstory because there's only so much words you can do in an article. But listening to Star Ravenhawk tell her backstory and what went on and how she's so resilient and strong and standing up to everything that went on, and the festival still went on. And this is the Witch Fest USA that happens every July in New York City. So I urge you guys to go out and support them, because they did get a lot of crap this year, and they are a really strong and resilient bunch of folks. So that was my favorite story of the year, of witches just standing in the face of adversity and doing their thing.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I heard all about that. I haven't read your article, but I firsthand from people who are there, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Courtney, you're holding something.
This is one of my gifts for the year. And I know this may take you all by surprise, because I feel like you know how I feel about these things.
You don't like dolls.
Well, it doesn't count because it's a Halloween decoration, not a doll. So that's how I get past it. But it does this really fun thing.
Do you want to play with me? Do you want to play with my teddy bear?
I pulled this really off. This lives in my living room now. This was a gift during October. It was a really hard, long October, really fun, but in Salem. And as you guys know, I work for a tour company down there, and I manage the tour guides. And one of my tour guides came in and was like, I got you something. And I was like, and then I was like, oh wait, no, it's a decoration. I can live with this. So now it lives with me.
It's a doll.
Patty. It's just a decoration.
It's a doll.
It's a doll.
It doesn't even have eyeballs.
Well, you have one doll. You could have. It's okay.
No, I won't live. My mother saw it and was like, what is that? What is that doing in your house? And I was like, oh, she wants to play. Don't you want to play with her?
That's a doll, Courtney.
Oh, also,
It lives
Jason, I thought you would
with
appreciate this.
You, Courtney, yes.
Yeah, the decoration lives with me, not a doll.
Doll.
This just came in the mail yesterday.
Ooh.
This is a Krampus pillow cover.
Very cute. Very
I
cute.
thought Jason would appreciate that. But no, it's a decoration, not a doll. Nobody get excited, okay?
Look how you're holding it.
It's a doll. You hold it like a doll. Like
You hold it like a doll.
I hold it.
All right.
my
So
God.
we only have a few minutes left. This is fun. This is kind of our free-for-all show and tell, whatever we're talking about. We didn't mention them all, but we love that you guys are chiming in. So did anybody else have anything that they want to show that we didn't get to yet before we start catching up with everybody? No?
Oh, wait, actually, I
Robert
do.
said, take the battery out, see if it still works, Courtney.
I will do no such thing. Stop encouraging this behavior.
Oh, because then it's a dog.
And
Patty,
then,
you know,
Courtney, you
Look
can
at-
say the Lord's Prayer
See,
backwards.
You're cradling it, Courtney. This is how you hold a doll.
I am not touching anything right now. It's not a doll. Nobody
It's a
get excited.
doll.
Dog.
Patty, I'm gonna change the subject. Patty, you
You're
know
talking-
Julie from.
Two doll
From
experts. Heather and myself are both doll experts and doll collectors.
It has a battery on its butt. Look,
Some dolls have batteries. We're back to
Oh, I just
tags on
almost gave
butts. Here we go.
I just almost gave myself a heart attack, guys. Look, there's a switch, and I was like, look, it's not even on, and then it's not. It switched to. I thought it was switched to off, and it was still doing it. No, it switched to demo. What is it? Motion censored? I just figured this out now live on the air.
We learn something every day, and learning is what witches like to do, right? We like to always keep learning. On that, what I just learned, and I guess we have an Instagram, which is Movie Coven, and I have not been tagging it. Producer Rob, I just saw which is Movie Coven. That might be Facebook, but if it's Instagram, I didn't know it. So we learn something every day. All right, we have like 4 minutes left. So Richard-Lael, anything you want to say? Hi, bye, where people can find you, anything coming up?
I am really easy to find. Thank you very much. Anywhere Richard-Lael Lillards are sold, or the Gentleman Psychic, you can find me there. Of course, we all know about the fake ones, but this is the only real one here. That's the only real me. You can find me everywhere there. And then, of course, we'll be doing my birthday show on New Year's Eve. I don't know what that will consist of, but stay tuned to this channel for more bat channels or whatever. Stay tuned. We'll find out.
We will find out. Yes, as the year trips away. Courtney.
That's me. I am at the themes on all the socials. If you want to check out some of the video games that I talked about today, I will be streaming a variation of them on Twitch at the themes. You can play with me, or you can use sound alerts and scare the crap out of me. Either way. You can also check me out as Ghostbait on Scared and Alone at www.scaredandalone.com. And I invited myself to Richard-Lael's New Year's Eve birthday party, and I will maybe bring my Nada doll. So, and Black Phillip.
Bring your Nada doll.
We'll have to see.
Okay, Jason.
If I get an invitation birthday party, and yes, to be here for my birthday, Space is going to take over the whole show. I mean,
That's right. Next week we all agree with Jason about everything, or maybe we can reverse it. So panmonkey.com. I'm Patti Negri. I do want to comment. Somebody asked about New Year's like rituals and spell crafting and stuff. I'm sure we all have lots of things. There is lots of some beautiful books. Actually, this is turning into a Llewellyn commercial, not on purpose. But there's some beautiful almanacs and calendars and Llewellyn books that have that. On this week's, which is on the Witching Hour, which will drop Monday, I do a sigil, a New Year's sigil. My magic this week is I did like a witch's ladder last week. So check out any of the Witching Hour on my YouTube page, on Facebook, everywhere you get podcasts. I'm Patti Negri, pattinegri.com. The Real Me now has a blue check mark everywhere on the Patti Negri Psychic Medium, the Instagram, the Twitter, and the Facebook. But people still get fake me's. I don't know what to do about that. But like us, follow us, tell your friends about us. Let us know what you want to see. I guess next week we should get back to some movies. I am going to be excited about talking about the Mayfair Witches, though, you guys. When that TV show comes out, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I have a napkin around here somewhere. I was like being totally like fangirl. I don't know where. I can't find anything on my. Look at this. Oh no, that says save water, drink champagne. But I had one that says the Mayfair Witches on it. I'm like a kid. Anyway, That's it. So give us your suggestions for movies, for TV shows, for books. Yes, go, Courtney.
Sorry, one quick thing I forgot to mention is that we have a special friend that may or may not be watching tonight, and I just wanted to say hi to Christy Parrish, and we love you, and we're thinking of you, and we're wishing you well, and glad to hear that you're recovering, and I can't wait to connect with you again when you are out of the woods and all better, and we're sending good thoughts your way.
Good thoughts, good thoughts. And hello, Yazoo City, Mississippi. I love that. Hello. You guys, thank you. Another one for Coven. You are all in our Coven, so keep on coming. That's what Coven sisters do. So we have wands up and wands down. I think we should just do wands up to the brand new year coming for the last show of the year. Wands up, wands down, or brooms up, brooms down. I'm going to go with a Barbie broom. Bristles up, bristles down. Doll up, doll down.
No, doll down. Not a doll. Not a doll.
Doll.
It is a
Not
doll.
a doll. It's a doll. Anyway, you guys, thank
Not
you.
gonna be able to
We're
sleep
1
in my own
minute
house.
long. We've never done that before, but we have one more thing to do. Next week, come back. It is all about Jason for his birthday. And on the count of 3, cackle with us. 1, 2, 3. That's Witch's Movie Coven.
Do you